All right, everyone, welcome to the Almost Irish podcast. Mick Thomas here.
Hey, everybody, it's Dennis Rooney.
Dennis Rooney. We are absent our third amigo, our third...
We're missing our...
musketeer. I ran out of trees, famous trees.
Famous threes. I couldn't even tell you. I don't know, Larry Moe and Dan Barry?
The Stooges. Anyway. But yeah, Dan Barry's not here. He's off wrestling.
He's wrestling up in Massachusetts right now. So if you're up there, go check him out. I think he's there today and tomorrow.
Yeah, so we, I'm kind of, part of me was thinking, like, Dan's not here now, because, like, and the one thing I like about the show, too, is that we don't ever do politics, which is because there's enough of it in the world.
I mean, we kind of do without doing it. You know what I mean? Mick, you're the type of guy... Yeah, you could talk politics without really talking. Well, you're talking gender politics all the time. This is a very gender politics.
No, I'm just complaining a lot. That's not talking.
Yeah, but all your complaints seem to go on towards women. Whatever, it's fine. Let's not get into it. Again, we don't need to do gender politics every episode.
But I kind of stopped based on when we were down in South Carolina, when we had an issue. It wasn't even on the podcast, but out on the deck of that hotel.
It was a classic vacation mishap because we had a great time. It was very chill, no arguments. And then, like, the very last night, at the end of the night, that's when, like, the drama, which it wasn't any real drama, but that's when this little...
Right. But I never wanted that to happen again. So I figured... No, because my friendship with Dan, especially, means...
It's already hard enough.
It means too much to me to be, like, kind of where you walk into a room, you go, this fucking guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's the Jedi thing about that is eventually you'll realize, like, that's not that your relationship hinges on that, but you arguing about stuff is a big part of your relationship with people.
You mean me in general?
Well, I mean, kind of everybody, but I'm an armchair therapist. I'm a middle child, so, I can talk about this sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I have relationships in my life where it's like, we might argue about, I had a day at the beach 2 days ago. First
by
of all,
yourself,
does that surprise you? No, not by myself.
It did surprise me when you text me.
Why does that surprise people that I say go to the beach?
Because I assume that most of the people, like the people I consider close in my life, I put you in there.
Thanks, buddy.
Kind of are like-minded like me. So I hate beach. Like, I love the beach, right? Here's what I do. I take my motorcycle and I go way out east. I go way out east in the evening time. And I walk. There's a beach. I don't know the name of it. It's like owned by like
you go to some private beach
monster houses like on the beach, like those glass houses that you don't think exist on Long Island.
Yeah.
And I walk by the beach and I love the beach by myself. But if I have to go during the day, watch fat fucks with awful tattoos, screaming kids, and it's just ruining. Like when you look at perfect scenery, and then
there's never people.
You have to look past those fucking monsters.
There is something about going to the beach where, like, if you get there and there's a lot of people there, you're like, what the fuck is this about? Like, what are all these people doing here on a Tuesday in August? And it's like, well, I'm here on a Tuesday in August.
Yeah, but then you have to listen to their music because they have it way too loud. And they set up like they're moving in. It's
a big deal. You know what I don't like? Having to swim between those flags. Don't tell me where to swim. Don't tell me where to fucking swim, dude. And, like... If I go down and I ride the line, like I'm kind of near the flag, but then, you're floating around, maybe you drift away.
Is there a lifeguard on present? Yes. That's why, because that's his limit. He's like,
so embarrassing.
If you drown a foot upside down, you're on your fucking own.
Can my parents sue if they were like, listen, there's green and red. Everyone has green and red.
He drove in-laws. He went right outside the fucking line, and that's why he's dead now. That's why.
Let me ask you a question. You pee when you go into the water? You pee? You pee in the water?
I've even shit in the pool in the ocean.
Like regularly shit?
No, it's not regularly. It's not like, oh, well, I think I'll go take a shit now and just like wander. I had to go.
Was it amazing?
No, it was kind of uncomfortable, and it was.
I imagine it would be like a water birth for a woman, where it's just like it's different, but it's more personal.
No, it was more of I know what you mean, and like it's supposed to be easier,
and it's more sanitary because salt water is naturally, right? That's good for wounds. I'm assuming it's good for a dirty butthole.
Well, here's what I was worried about. Like, you see, no, it could have been the salt water's probably good for your arse.
Did you like air wipe? Did you like lap water into your shitty ass?
Yeah, I did. You know what it is? I kind of did like a twist. You know what I mean? Like, what was that? Fucking come on.
You open up the hips, open up the cheeks.
Yeah. So I gave it a swirl, and definitely, it's great. You don't have
Wait a minute.
Chubby Checker and the Fat Boys. There you go. Couldn't think of that.
Chubby Checkers are good.
So when I had to, my only concern was, I hope this doesn't just like pop up and bob, because I've seen that in movies. And it didn't. It went straight to the bottom. And you're feeding fish. They love that. Fish love that. They go right for it.
Specifically human feces. Because it's all that food they can't get in the ocean.
Little fish, the bar dogs, they go in for it.
Now, when you did it, did you pulled trow down, right? You kind of pulled your bathing suit
shit
down
in your shorts.
Well, I don't know if you're. Well, I think there's also probably a way where you can kind of lay back, floating on your back in like a hospital bed position. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where you got your knees up, kind of, and it just floats out the bottom, like easy exit, because they are buoyant, like you said. You're worried about it.
Yeah,
floating.
but then you got to pull your shorts down a bit more, so then they're past your knee.
Wouldn't your turd get washed ashore?
I don't know, man. That again
you
was
just
one of
got
my
out
concerns.
of that,
yeah, and then you do one of those like run away. You can't run in the water, so you like there's no cool way to run in the water. Do you know what I mean? That's why in Baywatch they always ran cool on the beach, but you never see them in the water. Like, it's all,
no.
The elbows are up there. Like
they're on the very edge of the water.
Like you know, your aunt dances at a wedding. Like she's like,
maybe more embarrassing than getting what's the thing that they put in their mouth and blow?
Dick.
No, the lifeguards. A whistle.
Jesus
I'm
Christ
sorry. Listen,
almighty.
I have ice cream scoops out of my brain right now. I've been burning the candle at both ends, and it's been a good couple weeks of shows, but like I'm starting to get back into that burnout of like going all the time. So even worse than getting the whistle blown at you by going outside of the flags, I think, is when you're like, all right, let me go back up to my chair, and you start walking out of the water, and then that one wave comes way harder than the other ones and fucking knocks you over. Falling down as a 6'5" kind of fat guy. There's no place where it's okay.
Falling down is fine in the water, but almost falling down is worse. That's when you try to keep yourself up and maybe one hand hits the ground and you look like a total fucking mental patient. You know what I mean? The water's behind you.
And the waves keep coming.
Yeah, because if you fall, you can go wee and you can get another ride out
like,
of it.
look,
Right?
I meant to do that. I'm jumping
playful.
around.
But if you try to save yourself, that's when you look like a fucking mong.
So you were surprised that
I was surprised you're at the beach by yourself.
See, someone else said that. Comedian Mike Toohey. He's one of the people I went with recently to the beach, and he said halfway through the day, he's like, Rooney, you're kind of good at doing this beach thing. I didn't know you'd know how, like, what. And I'm like, we're sitting on the beach drinking and going in the water every half hour. Like, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, but you knew how to catch a frisbee and throw a frisbee.
You don't need a beach for
that.
Do
people not know that I'm a natural athlete? Like, I can do anything I want to if I want to.
No, I believe you are, and I know you are, because I remember when we came from a gig and we were driving across one of the bridges. What's the one? The Trogsnack Bridge.
Yeah.
And I remember you pointed out a school that I didn't know was there. It was like a Navy school, I think it was.
Oh, SUNY Maritime.
And you I played football over there.
No,
and that's when I got.
I did not play football. I said I was going to play. I was scouted to play football.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Because I was expecting like this almost stolen valor story now.
Is that
And I went off.
I did 3 years, started there. They actually brought me to Afghanistan early because they said that it was necessary.
I was so good at football and war that they invited me to play against Afghanistan in the Christmas Day match.
National security was at risk, and they needed to bring in the big dog.
That was it.
No, I scouted to play there. That's only D3, but yeah, or I played football. That's what I'm saying. Comedy has made me soft. That's what's made me.
What do you mean made you soft?
I've worked construction, poured concrete. I've done manual labor. I've done most sports I've played. And I've always been like a stocky guy, but like, I used to be very kind of fit for my size. Okay. And now after 10 years of doing stand up, pretty soft. You've only gotten harder. I think you look more intimidating today than any other day I've ever seen you. I said it before. You walked into this room with the hair going like an X-Men or something.
Well, I got here late, and there's one of the top things I hate in the world. It's number one that a human can do, right? 1 above rape, 2 above murder.
What?
And that is being late. I think it is the worst thing a human can do is be late. And I was late tonight, and you don't understand the self-hate I have for myself now.
So if it's your birthday party, right?
Yeah. Which I don't ever celebrate my birthday party.
And your wife showed, well, in this situation you do.
Go on.
In this rhetorical situation you do. Birthday party, reservations at 8.
Yeah.
At the restaurant, you're there 7:55. Your wife shows up 8:05. You're more concerned, and she says, "I'm late because I got raped. I got raped, man. I've been raped. I'm hungry, and I've been raped."
I like that she still made it to the party.
Well, where else is she gonna go?
The police station?
Her husband is an X-Men.
Okay.
He's very intimidating. He's got long hair, a beard, and Disney tattoos on his body. He's who, and you're like, but honey, you're 5 minutes late. Like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Better to cancel altogether than to show up late.
Why didn't you plan for the rape? You know what I mean? Like, I usually plan for traffic.
It's like traffic, yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to plan for it. Like, for me, the reason I was late, because like I took my son boxing, but what happened was I didn't realize how hot it was in the gym, and I was just covered in buckets. So when I went home, I had to rip off the shirt, wipe down, deodorant, and I didn't even realize what this was till I run out the door, and then of course I hit in typical long track. But I cannot stomach being late. It's awful.
Now, is it you being late, or is it like if I was late to something, are you also like this piece
I'm
of shit?
I'm forgiven with people because I understand the situation, but
you don't like to lose face.
Yeah, my standard. But then there's people like, I was supposed to do a podcast recently, someone else's, and he was doing it at his house on Long Island, and I would like to give him a shout out, but I don't know the name of his podcast, so I can't say it.
What a great guest you were on that podcast. Yeah. You're like, I don't know where I was. I don't know his name.
But he goes, meet me at 6:30 at my house. Here's my address. So I got there at 6:10. Now that's obnoxiously early, right? That was an accident, though. That was like,
if you're there that early,
right?
Maybe if there hasn't been something established with, like, you know, when we do this, it's like we'll get there as quickly as we can.
Yes,
but, you know, we kind of got a net where it's like we'll definitely be there by 6:30 if we can, whatever. But if you show up to someone's thing early like that, do you text them and say like, "Hey, I'm here," or if you need some time?
But that's what happened. So I get there 6:10. His show was supposed to start at 6:30. Start recording, and I text him and go, "Hey man, no rush." I like this guy, but I'm not bitching about him. I'm bitching about the
no rush. I'm already pleased with. Yeah,
I go, hey man, no rush, but I'm here. He writes back immediately, which I like. He writes back and he goes, bro, I'm sorry. I'm still out in Riverhead. I might be late. So first of all, now for those who are not listening on Long Island, from Brentwood to Riverhead is about 45 minutes. Give or take.
Even if you knew the name, you shouldn't plug. I'll say it. Don't plug this guy's podcast.
Yeah, I honestly.
That's inconsiderate.
If I knew his podcast, I would say it. Yeah. Because it was actually, I had a lot of fun when we rescheduled it. But my point is, you're in fucking Riverhead. So you know you're not making it by 6:30. So
was this the whole podcast where you just like taking him to
No, he gave me a week to cool down.
What happened? You were like, I'm not doing it tonight.
I went home. I'm not doing it.
That's
I'm not
fair.
sitting here for 45 minutes in a fucking your driveway.
Yeah.
You know, but you know you're in Riverhead, right? And you know you're not making it.
He should have texted you an hour ago.
Can I exactly?
Yeah.
Right? Can you push it back? And that to me, like, so when people are late, life happens. But you knew that, so that to me is like, if I didn't like the guy as much as I do, he would be dead to me. Like, dead to me.
I'll tell you this. This is something that my football coach, I don't know if you know, I played football.
I heard
almost
that.
played it SUNY Maritime.
I got your card.
I was scouted until the scout screwed me on that one, Mick. And
the Marine FL, it's called.
my football coach said this to us. It's always stuck with me. He said, early is on time is late, and late, I'm looking around the room, emphasis, unacceptable.
I like that.
I'm late all the time, though, but I remember it. You know what I mean? When I'm showing up, I'm like, this is unacceptable.
The one I go by is what I always thought. If you're not early, you're late. So there's only 2 times.
Ooh.
There's only early and late. There is no on time.
Here's another one. Brevity is the soul of wit, and that's much shorter than mine. You're early or late. That's it. That's like 4 words.
You're either early or you're late. Done.
There's
only two times. So when I get to a gig, I'm always on time.
Yeah.
Always, unless like that time I was in Jersey and I got stuck for 4.5 hours on the GW.
Oh yeah.
That ain't my fault, right? So, but I still left. I still got to the show on time, as in half an hour before the show started.
Yeah. And you're also, even if you were going to say you were going to show up on time, aka late, or actually late,
right,
you would text them ahead of time and be like, hey, I'm going to be late, or I'll be there at this time. You know, GPS has me.
I don't do it.
I'll say this though, doubling back to what you were saying about showing up. You know, you were there 20 minutes early, a little early, and you gave them the out. You said no rush. I had someone, good friend of mine. It was fine. It's fine. But they were coming to my place, and then we were going out to the club, actually, to Governors. We both had shows that night. And I said, get to my house at 6:15. And they got there at like 6, and they said, I'm here. And I was like, God damn it! What? I had 15 more minutes of free time walking around my apartment. You know what I mean? Oh, I have stuff out still. It's like I get very panicky if I feel like someone's coming into my my personal space before I'm ready for it. I got a lot of skeletons I gotta hide.
Yeah, that I don't care. People are like this morning, right? I get up at this morning. What did I do today? I get up at 4 a.m, went boxing.
Overachiever.
Came home. Then I had to go measure for the hit podcast Cheaper Than Therapy. I changed the background now, right?
Oh, what do you have now?
It's just a darker brick.
It's still brick.
I'm still trying to build the studio, like a bigger studio for my own podcast.
One fake brick by fake brick.
That's it. So I knew I had someone, because I don't have a pickup truck. I had someone coming to pick me up in the morning. So I get home from boxing. This guy rolls up. We go to Lowe's. I get it done. I cut it down. I walk in. I hang it up the piece. The studio is ready to go. Studio until it's done. Ready to go. I come back in. Right, I have 10 minutes left, and then another friend calls me up, so he wants to go running. He's training for a marathon. I go, I'll help you, man. But this guy runs like a fucking lunatic. So he's running at 7-minute miles.
Are you not retired from running?
I am, but I'm willing to help anybody.
Okay.
I'm retired from long distance
How
running.
soon until you pivot into life coach? This is starting to get into life coach territory. I'm willing to help anybody. If anyone's out there and needs anything, my name is Mick Thomas. I'm here to provide.
I can help you achieve great things. I mean, unless you're in a wheelchair.
Unless you kind of annoy me, and then I'll be done with you in 15 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're fully disabled, I can't help you.
Do you think, though, is there something in the back of your head where you're like, I bet if I really wanted to, I could get a paralyzed person to walk? Do you have that sort of...
I got the Jesus here
what
now.
What do they call that? The Jesus syndrome, where you're like,
fuck. Oh,
Mick
that is a Jesus thing.
Yeah,
there is a syndrome.
Not delusions of grandeur. Maybe kind of.
No, but there is an actual... there's a hospital in England where it's full of Jesuses. People who believe they're Jesus. Like, there's like 50 of them in this hospital.
That's got to be the best hospital to work at.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is the Messiah?
Everyone's forgiven. Forgiving each other like immediately.
I fucked up your pills, Jesus. Hey, don't worry about it.
Happens.
It's, you know what I mean?
That happens. Do you know what I mean? They're like, hey, I don't know what they're doing. They're wasting all their money putting this pool in. Every time we try to dive on it, we're just like hitting concrete. Like, yeah, you delusional fuck. Think you're gonna walk across?
I love the idea of a Jesus who can't control his powers. Like he couldn't even he couldn't dive into the water if he wanted to. He's like, yeah, I can walk on water, but I can never shower. So I just get pelted with pennies. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
There was a Patton Oswalt has a joke, and I wish I'd have thought of. You ever heard a joke so good that
constantly
you hear jokes that are so good, like that's a great joke, but then you hear one, you go, fuck. It's in your wheelhouse. I could have done that joke.
It's one thing to hear one where it's like, oh, that's a great joke. It's another one where it's like in your wheelhouse. And then there's jokes you hear where you're like, I can't believe nobody said that before. It was right there the whole time.
Right.
It was right there. It wasn't even some deep thing. It's just some right little...
100%.
That's why people say, I believe there's no such thing as a hack premise, only hack punchlines. You know what I mean? There's still another million airport jokes to be made.
Sure.
But I'm sorry.
Your take on it. No, but the Patton Oswalt thing was...
what was the bad thing?
Was like, and again, it's... see, here's the thing. The joke is about 15 years old, maybe 20 years old now at this stage, to the point where you had to be a super nerd. Now the joke probably would work better now, because now everybody has a take on the Avengers, and like everyone knows who it is. Even if you weren't a comic book fan, like you were either dating someone or you know somebody in your house. It's so you're going to just know know by
sure.
What's the word?
Association,
right?
Somebody else has ice cream scoops out of their brain. Am I right?
Yeah.
You smoking weed behind closed doors, Mick Thomas?
But
yes, he is.
No, God, no.
God, no.
No. So, but the joke was like, what if Jesus joined the Avengers?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's like a big fight going on against, and they use Ultron. Like, again, it's 20 years old. So these comics are here. He goes, Jesus, what are you going to do for us? I'm going to make you sandwiches. I got some bread. I got some fish.
I can feed everybody here. Good or bad, we'll take a moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it was a funny bit, but that's
speaking of famous comics. I worked with Dice this past weekend.
Yeah,
here at Governors.
How was it?
It was great. First of all, it's just great to be doing comedy in a packed indoor place again. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've made jokes about it, but like, comedy is such a fickle thing, and there's only a few things you really need, and I'm convinced that like a roof is one of them. You know what I mean? Like, you can do comedy outdoors, but you're not going to get that, like, if you're killing or even just doing great, whatever. I'm not saying I killed, but like, to be doing good in a closed, compact environment, that's when it really feel it.
I don't believe in the afterlife or any of that shit, ghosts or voodoo shit, but I do. When you do comedy in a roofless place, it's something leaves the air, and its energy is leaving. That's been, if you have a roof, that energy fucking bounces off it. Like
you threw me off a little bit with Ghost, but I think what you're trying to say is like positive vibes are escaping.
Yeah,
instead
and
of
it's trying to sound
bouncing
like a
off the
fucking
wall.
fairy hippie. You know
I mean, you're a fairy hippie. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's 2021. If you're a fairy hippie, your career will take off probably. All right.
Probably.
Honestly, the fairy thing bigger.
Okay.
But not in a gay. You mean like a fairy, like a
homosexual?
fantastic-
Another word for homosexual.
I thought you meant like a fantastical tiny person.
No. For the,
with wings.
Another word for
type.
homosexual, because I know you can't say the other one now because of Matt Damon.
Dice said it all the time this weekend. I don't know what
yeah.
you're talking about. No, he did. But I had this. It was a good time, and I had this great thing. I don't do a good Dice.
You and Dice
impression.
get on great though.
You know why? Because I don't bother him. You know what I mean? I never ask him for anything.
Did anybody bother him? You don't have to mention names.
There's always. I'll tell. Well, a comic. We won't mention names.
Yeah.
But
I can probably guess.
you could probably guess somebody. And this happens. I feel like this happens once a weekend when he comes to town to Long Island, where like someone just walks into the green room, like, "Oh, hey, Andrew, like, what are you doing here?" And it's like, "I'm the headliner for the weekend, and this is the green room," and you just walked into it.
And is he saying
you
to
know
him?
what I mean? And he's like, I don't know the exact how it went down, but definitely like, "Oh, we worked together. You don't remember me?" And like, "Hey, man, you gotta go. You gotta go." You know what I mean?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, I mean,
I love that.
I've heard. Yeah,
That's
I've
my
been
type of
asked-
guy.
Here's a good one. One time I'm here working with Dice, and he's in the room with Chaz Palminteri, right?
Okay.
Famous actor.
Yeah,
Bronx
yeah.
Tale, blah, blah, blah. And, they kind of tell me at the club, they're like, he's in there with Chaz.
I actually, for a split second, until you said Bronx Tale, I thought it was Sonny Bono's kid.
I always confuse the two. But that's
swear to God,
that's Chaz Bono. There's Chaz Bono and Chaz Palminteri.
And I was like, all right, because I get it. He was in Entourage as well. So was Dice.
there's not a lot of famous Chazes, but they're
Right.
easy to mix up somehow because
Chaz
of that
and
name.
Dave, they're two English comedians. Go on.
Chaz and Dave.
Yeah.
So the management at the club kind of tells me like, hey, they're having a conversation there, and like, who knows what, it could be a business conversation. So like, why don't you just hang in the hallway, wait till the music goes, and then when the music go in there,
That's true.
And then just go on stage and don't really bother them. Don't. And I think they even said, I was like, I know how to be around famous people. Like, you don't need to tell this to me. But they go,
The reason why they
don't
told
look
you
at
that is
them.
because there's people who don't know
Exactly.
how to be around
There are
famous
people who will burst into the room and be like, hey, we worked together in 96. And it's like, dude, you got to go. Get out of here. So
I love that he did that.
yeah, I like it too. But I'm in the hallway and I'm waiting for the music and I hear the cue. I know I got about 30 seconds. And I give a little knock and I let myself in and I don't look at him and I just walk to the door and I open the door and I get ready to go on stage. And I just hear from behind me like their conversation stop and 5 seconds pass and I just hear Dice go, two of the most famous people in the world and you're not going to say hello? And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I come over and shake their hands. I'm like, they kind of told me not to bother you. They're like, what? You come on.
Yeah,
I don't do a great Dice.
But the weird thing about like Dice though is like I don't get it.
Some
You know what I
people,
mean?
it's not
Now
for,
I respect that he's a living legend, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You can't overlook the fact that he sold out Madison Square Garden
Sure.
and does he go on the Mount Rushmore of comedy? Probably for ticket sales, right? But
definitely as far as like being an icon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's up there, you know.
I just don't get it. I just don't get again, man. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not saying this any disrespect to him or any disrespect to his fans.
No, it's fair.
But
Comedy's music, man. It's
just,
subjective.
yeah, man. It's just toilet humor, and it's like,
Well, I'll say this. It's definitely lowbrow, some of the stuff. But when I first started working with him, I knew he was an icon. I knew the Madison Square Garden thing. I
Yeah,
knew he
yeah.
was big. And I had heard a little bit of his album, The Day the Laughter Died, which I was kind of like...
that was the Dangerfields one,
The
right?
Dangerfield set where he famously
sabotaged.
just came in like around Christmas time. There's like 6 people in the crowd. And he just does 2 hours and no material, almost probably harassing the audience a ton. People walk out, people heckle. It's all on tape. It's a very interesting documentation of comedy. You know,
Yeah.
what comedy can be and sometimes and often can be. You know what I mean? Like you do in small
Often is.
rooms and, you know. So I knew him from that, but I wasn't that familiar with the material. After working with him a bunch and watching him, I'll go to bat and be like, you might not like Dice's humor, might not be for you, but anyone who's like, he can't write a joke, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
any
no,
way. In any way.
absolutely,
It's like,
yeah.
that's why I said up front, like, it's just not for me.
Just
I
not
don't-
for you, yeah.
I just don't get it. Like, that's why, like even Patton Oswalt, right? That's not for everybody else because he's too inside the
Sure,
nerdy
yeah.
comic books guy. So, but yeah, and the sad thing about that too is like, I feel the same way about Carlin.
Oh, not a Carlin guy, huh?
Because like I just wasn't exposed to him till his material didn't, like, I can 100%. I would always say based on what he did, like, you know, the rules he broke and how he
effect
did it
and legacy.
That should he be on the Mount Rushmore of comedy? I think so, right? But to listen to that comedy, to me, it's like I got in too late to the point where it's like it doesn't translate anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Do you know what I mean?
Again, it's like comedy's subjective, so you're going to have your favorites. You're going to have things that don't really click.
Right.
What's fascinating to me, bringing up names like, not so much Carlin, really, or maybe, I don't know, but definitely with Dice, definitely with Patton, it's always strange to me when like the audience really reflects the person's persona. Like Patton gets a lot of nerds. Dice gets, I say this every time Dice comes to town, and I go out there. A lot
of union people.
There's always, hold on. Union people. A lot of dock workers. A lot of people shaking people down. Yeah. No, I'll go out and they'll be like, whatever, blue collar crowd, most of the types you'd expect. But then there's like 3 Dice mini bosses in the crowd. People wearing like flashy shirts or like shit where you'd kind of be like, do you walk around wearing shit like that?
Yeah, like, do you think you're Courtney Coxon and Bruce Springsteen? Like, Dice is going to pull you up on stage?
Are you going to fight Dice and take his tour dates from here on out? Are you going to out-Dice the Dice Man? And they'll, like, kind of heckle you. Those are the ones where you got to win them over. It's like, you got to prove you're fun. And then eventually, those are the guys that come up to you after the show and be like, you know what? Like, I came to see Dice. I've been seeing Dice 20 years, but you were pretty good. You made me laugh. And I'm like...
See, that was a good Dice, but even though you weren't doing Dice.
No, I'm getting...
Now it's rude. Now you're trying to do it.
I'm starting doing Sly Stallone.
You practice in front of the mirror?
I've been doing...
You're Stallone.
This will be a better Dice impression. Here's my other little Dice story from the weekend, which I don't think this will tickle...
Suck it harder, Dennis!
Rooney, I only ask for you for one reason. Oh,
Rooney with the teeth over here. You know I want one finger in my ass, Rooney.
I'm wearing fingerless gloves too. I'm like, just up to the glove, Rooney.
Oh, with the beads.
No, I should. What am I doing? No. But
is that a good Dice though? Was that?
I don't know.
Was that all right?
I always forget what he sounds like.
All right, so I mean probably that, but go on.
So. I go on. So Dice brought Eleanor Kerrigan, who I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Very funny comedian.
Years ago. Very
funny. Dated Dice years ago. Was a waitress at the Comedy Store for a long time. Was funny enough where like and enough people told her like you need to start doing stand up that she finally did, and she's been doing it a long time now, and she's great. She's hysterical. Check out Eleanor Kerrigan if you never heard of her. So I bring her on. She brings Dice on. So I got a lot of downtime backstage, and I'm back there with Eleanor. And she goes, you do that joke about your father? I go, yeah. She goes, you say, what do you say? I go, he's very withdrawn. He's very stoic. She goes, yeah, you said that? And Dice, like, snapped his head towards me and goes, what does that mean? And she
it means he doesn't like Jews, Andrew. Oh, he's anti-Semitic, this guy. Oh, he wanted his sandwich cut in a swastika.
She goes...
Yeah, again,
she goes, you're getting closer. You're getting better. I know impressions aren't your thing, but hey, you work on it like anything else. He goes, what does that mean? She goes, what does what mean, Andrew? Stoic. And the idea of Dice being like, just saying stoic in a green room as a sentence, like stoic, stoic.
Or he picks up his phone. Hey, Siri. Stoic, you dumb cunt. But you know the thing about, like, here's the thing, like, when he played himself on Entourage.
Yes.
Right?
And on his show to a degree.
I never saw his show.
So it's a little bit more behind the curtain.
But when he played himself on Entourage, like, that was a fantastic.
Yeah.
And I really liked him in A Star Is Born. I watched it the other day, actually.
I mean, talk about a guy with lasting power.
Yeah, man.
And not you, but there's so many people out there who try to criticize him, and they're you know, he was one of the first people where, like, they really tried to cancel that guy.
I don't really criticize any comics, like, unless it's the obvious shit, but, like, I don't, like, if you're selling at fucking places more than, I mean, I'm not doing it, right? I'm not selling at arenas. You're doing something right.
The longer you do comedy, the more you kind of, like, I don't know. Not that you don't take it as seriously, but there's room for a lot of people in this industry. And if a guy's been making a living for 30 years doing it, and like people, me included, maybe like, hey, he's a little hacky. It's like, yeah, man, so what? Like that guy could work a crowd. Like anyone who's been doing this for a long time has knowledge to them. You know, I mean, they have. Yeah, you can't take that away. When you're doing something for a long time, you have that wisdom.
Yeah, but it's and here's the thing. Like, there's a lot. Like, to me, the greatest I wouldn't even call him the greatest of all time, because one of my favorites of all time was Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
But the problem with Billy Connolly, and when I said it, I felt like it was blasphemy me even saying it, is that he let his audience get old, and he didn't So as he got old, his audience got old with him, and that's it. Like, I'm not bringing in anybody new.
Just catering to the same crowd.
The numbers are dwindling, and it's not that he's not funny; it's that they're fucking dying.
Yeah,
I mean, he's retired now because of Parkinson's, but
it's interesting to see Dice's crowd because obviously he gets the older people.
Yeah, but the fact that he goes into the crowd and crowd work alone, there's a lot of crowd work comics that people come to see. Just that's an art form by itself.
It is, crowd work gets a bad rap, and if you're doing bad crowd work, it's pretty bad. But when you're seeing good crowd work, it's like,
and then there's social media cunts.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. They're the ones I can't stomach.
I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna be TikTok famous soon.
Not the comics, by the way. Not comics. I'm talking about people like there are comics out there who go on social media and they make funny videos, whatever. But they're comics and they got their audience in based on that. Good luck to you. That's great. But when you see some like YouTube star and then all of a sudden, yeah, I'll do comedy. You can go die. Like, you're shitting on my profession now because you think it's just that fucking easy.
I do feel that way to a degree. Where it's like, fuck this. Like, I'm middling for some guy who's been doing this for 18 months, and he's like playing videos on stage in between horrible 2-minute bits or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then again, like, the longer I do comedy, it's like, hey, well, where else is he gonna go? He needs a venue to perform. He's selling tickets. He's giving me work for the weekend. You know what I mean?
Right, but it's how he treats comedy.
If they're kind of disrespectful of comedy, then sure, I can't. And they might be disrespectful of comedy without even realizing it. But usually they're just naive and they're kind of wide-eyed and they know that comics are assholes who are very defensive of that territory. So usually they come in hat in hand, more they're looking for advice. They have nerves, blah blah blah. But every once in a while, I have caught some reality where they're kind of condescending to you, and I'm like, I want to bury you so fucking bad right now.
There's two people that come to mind that came into comedy very gracefully. Very gracious.
You can name names then if it's.
No, I am going to.
Right? Okay.
It's Mick Foley, who I still talk to today, and Vinny from the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, well, from the beginning, especially with Foley, and I think still today, Foley's like, I don't do stand-up. Like, this is just kind of the venue. Again, it's like a venue thing, you know what I mean? Where you're not going to rent a rock club because the overhead's probably too much. Mm-hmm. And, they don't have shit. What are they going to fill the place with 300 metallic chairs? You know what I mean? Folding chairs, I think the common folk call it.
Or the wrestlers call them folding chairs.
Foley chairs?
Foley.
Foley's got to show up to every gig with his own chairs. He's crazy enough to do it. But then, I have heard of people where I know Steve-O had he got a lot of shit.
It's just shit like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But going back to social media, this is something I was going to talk to you off air, but we might as well do it on air.
Talk to me, man.
You're getting off social media.
Yeah.
And it's something I really want to fucking do because I'm sick of it. I kind of have I realized like last week I may have an addiction problem to social media.
Do you have TikTok?
And I hate it. I have TikTok and I hate it.
My dad, who didn't have electricity until he was like 17, recently he was exposed by my brother. My brother was like, Dad's looking at TikTok videos. Every time I look at the fucking guy, he's on TikTok. And I was like, Dad, are you like, I was asking him like when he would ask me if I was doing drugs in high school, I'm like, Dad, are you looking at TikTok videos? And he's like, only sometimes. I'm like, dude, you cannot be on that. Like, you're going to get sucked in. So
I tried to do TikTok. I'm only going to look at TikTok when I take a shit.
That's why I have it.
Right.
But
I'm on the toilet way too long now. Like, it's like I got purple legs and I'm like it's.
You got the marks on your
thighs. I don't know what the algorithm has done to me, but for some reason, like, and this is not me. Like,
what are your videos? What are you getting?
The first first of all, it was motivational speak. Like you said, like you could be a life coach, and it's a lot of that. Like it's a lot of guys with black and white backgrounds. You know, if you don't get up and this, that, the other, and you'll have Schwarzenegger like there's only 24 hours in the day. You got to lose 6 hours sleep, and he's like going into all. I'm
not
shit.
Impervious to that. I've heard that Schwarzenegger speech specifically, and
it's a good speech. I read it in his book.
Get up and,
I read it in his book, and he was like, he talked about his 24 hours. I got 24 hours a day, 6 hours sleep. And what he said was hysterical. He goes, if you don't think 6 hours sleep is enough, then sleep faster. I love that.
That's funny.
Right?
I like that.
And I was like, but then he goes like, then I went like, I worked out for 5 hours. I worked construction for 8 hours. And he's doing the math. I lost math about how many hours have gone from 24. And then he's like, then I went to acting classes for an hour. Then I went to school to learn better English. You know what I mean? He goes, so I never wasted 1 hour in the day.
Yeah.
And so I'll get them. So I'll go from those motivational speeches, right? And again, I don't know why I'm there now. And now it's me. It's everything making fun of Biden. Like it's shitting on Biden, and I don't care enough to shit on anybody like that. Like, because I think all politicians are crooked and they're all fucking idiots. I truly believe that. But for some reason, my whole thing, and if Dan was here, he'd be like, yeah, all right. It's very pro-Trump, very anti-Biden, which is not who I am. Like,
so Dan, if he were here, he'd basically have the opposite. He's like, really? Because I'm getting all the other ones on the other end of the spectrum. That
and it's all people with these like, oh, but they want the vaccine, and then they're going to I do make jokes about it on my own podcast about the vaccine. Like, I'll briefly throw in a quick kind of thing where I'm trying, like I did this thing on last week's episode where I might go something about like and I don't want to get into the vaccine shit, but I said something like guys, please just go get vaccinated because when you get vaccinated you don't have to wear a mask. And then I would do like, oh, you do, you have to wear I forget that, but the good thing about it is if you get vaccinated then you can't catch COVID. Oh, you can, right? So I was being sneaky about it, but like you know, because I don't want to go down that road with people. I get that anti-Biden shit. And for some reason, I'm telling you, man, I could not swipe fast enough. Just shallow, empty women just dancing and showing tits and their ass. And
you're saying you're swiping that away immediately?
As soon as I see it, because I want to. Well,
I mean, you listen, you could lie to yourself, but you can't lie to the algorithm. They're showing up for a reason, Mick. If you're watching till the end of the video, that's what they say is like, the videos you watch in full, that's the more shit you get. I'm telling you. But also these... Well, I am vapid women, as I think you were describing them.
Go on.
They have short videos normally. You know what I mean? You're not. Yeah. It's not a 2-minute video of Shakespeare and then a titty drop at the end. It's just here's me in a wet T-shirt right off the bat.
But it's girls doing this thing, right? For those of you listening, where they do it,
like that's the Japanese anime thing,
right? Which means I'm shy.
Oh yeah.
Right. It means I'm shy. But here's me tits and me arse hanging out, and if you kind of tilt your phone a little bit, you'll see right up me box.
Yeah.
Right, and they're like, "This is me, I'm shy," and then they're doing that. So I'm like, no. But the problem is that why I stay on here. You know why? Now that I'm actually realizing as I'm talking about it, why the algorithm? Because I'm on there long enough reading the comments of grown men, of grown old men going, "You look beautiful." Like, do you think you have a fucking shot? Did you think she's going to say, "Here's my address"?
I think that's an older guy thing too. There's something about like boomers boomers will not all, but I've seen plenty of it. Like shamelessly leave comments like that on Instagram or Facebook, where it's like, just smoochy faces and shit, and it's like, you're married. Your wife's on the Facebook. Like, what are you doing?
Like, what are you doing? Like, do you think? And then it's like, and then I'm yelling like at these, like I'm yelling at the people because I have 2 separate accounts. One is for me, like I guess you would call it trolling. Trolling is trying to get a rise out of it, but it's really me saying what I think, but I can't because I don't want to get cancelled on the other one. So that's
like, right, everybody. Try to find Mick Thomas's fake account. You can be the first one to cancel
Thomas
him.
Mick.
Thomas Mick. Tick Mamas.
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
But so I look at that and I'll see like hot moms. I'm like, fucking take care of your kids. This is what's wrong with the country because
they can be hot moms on TikTok and still take care of their kids.
No,
come on,
no, man. Your priorities are up your fucking arse. If you're their video, because it's never one take, right? If you're wearing half nothing and like your kids are gonna see this, man.
So we won't cover all this today, but I recently got back on the dating apps, specifically Tinder.
All right.
I'm not at my goal weight where I was like, I'm going to wait till I get there and then hop back on. I was going on the road, and I was just like, fuck it. Let's just see what's out there. You know what I mean? I like being on the road, throw it down to like a 3-mile radius, see like who's real close.
3 miles is dangerous in America because you have to drive far to get anywhere. If you're in Manhattan, I get it. But if you're like up in
Manhattan, you do like 1 mile. And
but if you're in Allentown, Pennsylvania...
Well,
you got to go fairly fucking far, mate.
Listen,
to find somebody.
I'll start at 3.
And then you got to weed them out because a lot of them are hounds up there.
Yeah, but hounds are fun. You ever have a hound? Hounds are just like those Instagram comics, all right? There's room in the industry for them too, all right? There's room for hounds. There's a no-kill shelter, Mick, all right? We're not putting anybody fucking down. Everyone gets a pass. So I'm up there, and I match with this girl, thicker variety.
Go on.
But I'm about it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And we start chatting, and I'm getting zero vibes of like an ulterior.
Chatting online, you mean?
Yeah, chatting on the app. Zero vibes of ulterior motive. Sometimes you'll match with someone, and right away you're like, "Oh, this is a bot," or like, "This is someone this is a catfish," or like something, or this person's trying to plug some porn shit. I start talking to her. She gives me her Snapchat, which is another social media thing, which I strictly downloaded just because she was like, I'm on Snapchat. And I'm like, well, that's the sluttiest of all the apps.
Sure.
And so I downloaded that. whatever, talk to her. We don't end up meeting up a little bit. We don't end up meeting up. We just talk a little bit, and I go home. And like the next day, I'm looking at her Snapchat, and she's plugging her OnlyFans, and she has an OnlyFans. And this is some like not a bad looking girl at all, but like you wouldn't think she's in the sex work industry, which is what it is.
But, I mean, I've said
Mick Thomas is torn right now.
I've said this before about OnlyFans.
Like,
I'm not paying $12 a month to look at a 6. Do you know what I mean? When I can go into my phone right now, and I could even pull up a picture of, I don't know, who's that Spanish girl? Isa, what's her name?
Isa?
Yeah.
A Spanish porn star?
No, she's not even a porn star.
She's just a...
Eiza. Am I saying it right?
I don't know.
You know when I showed it? Yeah, Gonzalez.
Gonzalez?
Yeah, Eiza Gonzalez. You've seen her. Look at that one there, right? She's gorgeous.
I don't know who that is. But all right, yeah, she's gorgeous.
Bunch of movies, bunch of flicks. Right? Tasty, as we would say. Right? I just looked at that for free.
Yeah, but that's not... Those aren't naked pictures of her.
I don't care if she's
or
naked.
Videos of her dancing or putting weird objects into her body.
But I've seen a pair of tits, and I don't like me stuff in my house sticky. So why does any of this...
You don't like things in your house sticky? What does that mean?
She likes to put weird objects in her body. Like, I don't want to fucking pick up the Pound Spring bottle and go,
she's not running an Airbnb.
Sarah, what the
She's not running an Airbnb that everything you touch in there is like, Jesus, did you rub your cooch on everything in this household?
She's like a dog driving herself across the fucking rug.
The pepper shaker is saturated.
But my point is, I can, and now they've apps anyway, where you go to some celebrity, I don't remember the name of it, you go on, and they've like photoshopped so good, like not only on a picture, but a video. Like I can watch Scarlett Johansson take on 6 black guys.
I don't like that. I don't go for those. I don't go for those because I know it's not. I want something that fools me into believing.
But my point is, it's still better than that fucking 6 who wants $12.99 a month.
Well,
that's a subscription to something.
I'm not gonna. First of all,
that's HBO Max, man.
I think it's just HO Max in this case. All right. But I'm saying, I'm not gonna pay. I'm not saying I would never pay for an OnlyFans, but I don't. But I certainly wouldn't pay for this girl's, especially because of this. I look at her Snapchat. She's plugging her OnlyFans. Next video is her twerking in like booty shit. Now I'm like, you're just giving away.
You can't bring her home to your ma. Do you know what I mean? You can't. Like, there's no future.
I'm not looking to bring anyone home.
No, but you don't know.
To my mom.
What if you fall in love with her immediately? Like, because that could happen.
Fall in love with it.
And you get a great connection, but that's the problem. And then all of a sudden you fall in love with this chick, and now you gotta... She's like, well, I'm off to work.
Isn't that a good problem?
She's like, I'm off to work now. You're going to the couch, love. You're not going off anywhere. It's like...
I'm help set up the camera, doing the lighting.
Yeah. And then why some fucking...
I'm wiping everything down.
Yes,
That's sticky.
Some fat white guy from Minnesota then is just like sending in $12 a month. Put it in your butt.
We appreciate it, Robert. Please keep it on auto subscribe and, tip us or whatever.
So what did you... See, my only thing about getting rid of Facebook, I'd love to get rid of Facebook, especially that one.
That's the easiest one to get rid of.
It's all nanas.
That was the first one I got rid of.
But my fear of that one is I've hit the limit of friends on there, right? So friends, if you want to call them, 5,000 people, right? So to me, I use it to plug shit. Like our podcast, my own podcast, and so I kind of don't want to give up that. Twitter is bullshit. Twitter's just gone to
that was the next one I deleted that like
I don't care. I've just got a little over 1,000 followers. I don't give a shit about that one.
I'm staying on Instagram because I'm not saying I'm deleting all my social media, but like I had to downsize. And also,
did you delete? Like, are you just not going on there, or you shut it down?
Completely permanently deleted my shit.
Wow, that's great. There's people out there now listen to this like with sweaty palms.
I know. It felt so liberating to know, and also to know that like. Listen, I'm sure you can find stuff, the internet lives forever. I know that. But, like, certainly not easily now. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to find some horrible tweet I tweeted in 2014.
Right.
And I never had success with that shit anyway. I didn't have the time. I don't work that way. Put me on stage. Put me in a room with 500 or 500 people, and I'll get it done. But I really don't want to sit around and try to impress people on the internet for fucking internet points. I don't want that. What I want now is like I just want to put out videos. I can do that on Instagram. Maybe I'll put them on YouTube or whatever. I'm considering
Are you keeping YouTube? Do you have YouTube? Like
I have YouTube. Channel? I don't really see that as like a social media. I'm not checking YouTube throughout the day. Do
you have your channel though?
I have a channel, but I have like nothing posted.
See, I'm doing the opposite of my podcast is all on there now. Yeah. Just so I can have content. That's it.
Yeah, I want to start producing a little more content, but keeping it very bottlenecked. You know what I mean? Like, here's where you can where can you find me? I'm not going to throw you 12 things. Like, look at my Instagram. And if you want to YouTube me, people do that anyway. I don't need to tell people to like look YouTube me for YouTube videos. You know what I mean? They'll just do that anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, it feels good.
No regrets?
No regrets, although I have gotten some things from comics where they've just been like, you're doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, yeah, but I only had a toe in, and now I'm fully committed to being like, I don't know. I've never been a big promoter. Eventually I'll get someone else to do this shit for me. You know
right,
what I mean?
Get a publicist. And
I think I'll not a publicist necessarily, but I'll pay someone $100 a month to be like, hey, do me a favor and just plug my shit when I have a show coming up. I'll send you my schedule and you do that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I do feel bad with like promoters when I don't plug a show that I'm on. I try, and I'm pretty good at it on Instagram, but I wasn't good at it on the other things where it's, you know, they're putting you on a show. The least you could do is plug the show. Hey, I'm going to be at this place, you know.
But there's nothing more humiliating to me, and this is another reason I want to get it. Like I have 2 Twitters too. I have another one where I can kind of go, hey,
what is wrong with you, Mick? Just
because we live in a world now that if you say something, like I want to go at somebody and go, you can't say that. Like if you're going to say that about me, then I'm going to say this about you. Like if your people say this about my people, well, have you checked the stats on this? You know what I mean? I'll say stuff like that.
You're like one bad day from going around at night with a mask on. You know that?
No, I'm
no, you already are. I heard that in your voice just now.
No, I am like, I do want to get rid of all of it though. Like fuck, just shut it down.
Well, I think you might be a little like me, where like if I wasn't doing stand up, I think I'd be pretty off.
I wouldn't
the grid.
have any of it.
I'd be like living in a van somewhere.
I would
or
be Jason
just nomading
Bourne.
it.
I would be Jason
Of course,
Bourne.
fuck it. I'm over here like I'd be a homeless
what
person.
I mean?
You're like I'd be Jason Bourne.
As in,
Shut
you
the
wouldn't
fuck
know
up,
who the
Mick.
fuck I am. I'd have 5 passports.
Okay, I thought you meant like you'd be insanely intelligent and gifted and talented.
And just fighting people in Greece. No, like I have 5 passports.
Yeah.
And it's Matt Damon, so I'd be dropping the F word every 2 minutes.
That's fair.
You know, so.
Well, I think this was a pretty good
wrap it up.
Test
Have
episode.
Yeah.
Thank you, Govs Radio for having us.
.com.
I think we're gonna try to make this work.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this.
Did we go live? Was it live?
It was live.
Were people commenting? How many people watched too?
A little bit more than that.
All right.
We don't need numbers. We don't discuss numbers on the air, right?
We don't.
Well,
no, that's true.
You got anything you want to plug though?
August 12th. Laughs for Ziggy, for John Ziegler.
Yes.
Colin Quinn's on the show. I'm on a show. Mike Vecchione, Joe DeVito, Matt Burke. It's a fucking Joey Cole is going to be on there. Fantastic lineup. This weekend, actually, I'm opening for Tom Cotter. I was sitting at home. I said, hey, you want to open for Tom Cotter? I would love to open for Tom Cotter Friday and Saturday here at Governor's. And then on August, July's gone. August, I never say July again, you fucking idiot. August, next Saturday, August 14th. I am opening in the Avalon Theater for Bobby Collins, who I haven't seen in a while. So it'll be good to work with Bobby again.
Look at you.
Look at Bobby.
Shit,
you called me up and like, Mick, you handsome motherfucker.
I can't do a good Bobby either.
No, you can.
You know what I mean?
It's all right. It's just all teeth. That's where I am.
Now,
and of course, my Cheaper Than Therapy podcast.
Now ask me if I have any.
Dennis, what you got going on this weekend?
I'm off social media. I don't plug things. Laughs for Ziggy, and check out me on Instagram at DennisRooney7.
And we'll probably have Dan Barry back next week, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Good luck.